huge security and governance void right now, and Hamas is filling that. I think there has been so much attention paid to the international security force that there is a risk of missing the fact that every day that there is no basic policing by an actor other than Hamas, then Hamas simply tightens its grip again. And one thing that Gazans want badly that they have not had for 2 years is security. You have to address this terrible food insecurity. There is still far too little humanitarian assistance coming in. But more to the point, there needs to be a regeneration of a proper economy. And ultimately, the governance piece is critical. And we still see here far too little as to how that is going to be put into shape and deployed.
Let me ask you another thing. With Syria in transition and Gaza entering a post-Hamas phase, and Lebanon in acute volatility, what do you see as the greatest risk for a strategic confrontation between Turkey and Israel?
I'm not particularly worried about that. I think both leaders, for all the heated rhetoric and the clear personal distaste that they have for each other, I'm not particularly concerned about an open military conflict between the two. I think they both are measured. I do worry about a round 2 or 3 or 4 between Israel and Iran because of the unfinished business on the nuclear program. And until there is a resumption of negotiations that could lead to a good, sound agreement, I think that risk remains.
Let me come to the visit of Mohammed bin Salman to the White House. What are the realistic expectations from this meeting with President Trump?
So there are gaps between the U.S. and the Saudi side in terms of what the two leaders want from each other, but they'll manage those gaps. It's an open secret, or not even a secret, that the Saudis want a real binding defense agreement with the United States that would be in the nature of a treaty. The ground has not been prepared for such a thing. The Saudis also want a significant piece of U.S. assistance in terms of a civil nuclear program, and that too normally requires going to the U.S. Senate. President Trump has made no secret of the fact that he would like to get Saudi Arabia announced normalization. There's no prospect of that occurring during this trip, and I think that's been clear for quite some time. So there will be some sort of framing of this as desired in the future when the conditions are right. And one of those key conditions, of course, is, as he has put it regularly, the Crown Prince in public, a clear, defined, irreversible, time-bound pathway to Palestinian statehood.
With your experience in the Middle East, what would you advise President Trump at this time?
I would say it's quite important to continue on the course that he has set on Syria, but also continuing and getting more support from the region on Lebanon, because the Lebanese require both pressure and support. The Lebanese armed forces require a lot of support to do the job that they're set to do, which is really to fill the space that Hezbollah has occupied for decades. If they can stabilize, with the assistance of significant partners in Europe and in the region, stabilize these two countries, it will have a widening effect on Iraq and on the security of Jordan and Israel and Turkey. But Gaza can undo it all. So this year has got to be the place where they really prioritize moving into phase 2 and starting again at the bottom, provide security to the Palestinians that is not Hamas. Allow the Palestinian Authority to field policemen in there. And really, some very tough political decisions have got to be made.
Is Israel willing to help to that direction?
Well, I think he's got to make the choices pretty stark. The other thing I think requires is really leaving aside as the party that you're negotiating with and bring the Palestinian Authority into the picture. As poor as the standing of the Palestinian Authority is among the Palestinian public, this is the only self-governance structure the Palestinians have ever had, and they should be mobilized and pressured and supported, as with the Lebanese, pressured to do their job, but also offering an alternative to the Gazans that is not Hamas. If you don't have an alternative there in governance and security terms,